How do you look back on Autumn Days? What is your feeling now?
I don't really look back on it. You know, I will revisit it as I'm getting ready to put like a set list together for the new tour. But I try not to look back on my records.
Why? Why not?
Because I'm trying to move forward, you know, and that was the record that I made a few years ago. And I don't know how it's going to help me by listening to the old songs, other than to figure out what songs I'm going to play for a tour.
But sometimes people say every new album is a reaction to the previous one. Do you believe so? Or?
In this case, I think this new record is a reaction to like every single record I've made. I mean, in almost every case I feel like I maybe have compromised on some level and have second-guessed myself. And on this record, that was like one of the strict guidelines, was to not second-guess myself and follow through with the initial vision, you know.
But how did you second-guess yourself then on Autumn Days?
I think I threw a couple songs on at the end of it that didn't fit the initial sort of idea, the initial concept.
Can you explain, maybe?
I felt that maybe I tried to throw a single on there or something to that effect, you know, like maybe heard a song as I was getting towards the end of it and said, oh, I should put something like that on the record. Whereas in this record, everything had to fit the body of work. It's one solid body of work. It's single-minded in that approach, you know. There's no a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's like an intimate portrait of the song cycle, and nothing frivolous about it at all. And I think so in that regard, this record is a reaction to every other record I've made, because they've all had elements of a little bit eclectic, a little bit of this, a little of that, you know, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a record that was like sort of my favorite records from the 60s and the early 70s, where they were just one thing. Like an artist went into the studio for a brief period of time and created this one type of record.
Do you have an example? Are you were saying from the 60s or the 70s that you say, well, not that you compare it to
Pink
them,
Moon, Nick Drake, short record. Every song fits within that. It's like one body of work. You know, they all contribute to the sound of Pink Moon. And so I wanted to make that type of record.
What song do you like best from Pink Moon?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously the title track, Which Way. I mean, there's just, that's, maybe Parasite would be.
It's really dark, huh?
Yeah. That's just got a great finger-picking pattern as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you wanted to do, but in what time frame has this new album been recorded then? Is it a short time frame or?
Relatively short, because I would work on it in spurts, a couple weeks, and then take a couple weeks off. But it was over a year period. But that's the luxury of having a home studio, you know, is you can work at your leisure when inspiration calls. So.
But how do you keep the same feel then? Because, well,
because I stayed true to the aesthetic. And the main thing I wanted to do was have these intimate songs, acoustic guitar, nylon string guitar, and the female voice to be the primary sound of the record. And with those three elements, my voice, the nylon string guitar, and the female voice, everything had to support that, and nothing could distract from that. And that's how I think I kept it consistent, you know, was just adhering to that. Anytime I would record something that took away from it or took the record in a different direction, I just had to scrap it and just stay in that one moment.